Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bunny Says, and this is my personal intro for Deadly Premonition. Now, uh, boy, do I have a lot to say about this one. Okay. First of all, let me start off by. Alright. I usually do a personal intro for a game after I finish it, and I want to just go over my experiences and just tell you about the general feel of what's going on, so you know what's happening and that type of thing. If you want to listen to it or not, just as an overall primer before you listen to it or watch it or whatever. Now, I have to say this. I have to start out by saying this: Deadly Premonition is not for everyone. I'll say that. Okay. Now, it was for me. it was a good game for me. I liked it a lot. There were certainly problems, and I'm going to go into those. I'm going to go into those a lot. The game itself is you play a guy named Francis York Morgan, who was a member of the FBI, and he comes to a small town to investigate a serial murder, a murder case that turned out to be a serial murder, and he starts getting embroiled in the sort of small town politics and the small town life and that type of thing. And he's trying to find out the mystery behind the raincoat killer. It's a killer who walks around with an axe with a raincoat. This is a port. I played the PC port of the game, and I only paid a few dollars for it, so you have to base your judgment on that a bit. All right. It should still only cost a few dollars. I'm pretty sure it's almost always on sale for like $3 on Steam, $3 or $4 maybe. But the game would have been really great. The problem was it seemed to be made back in the sort of like 2005 era, like around there, sort of PS2, late PS2 era, like around there. And so it was before all the sort of new 1080p and all kinds of stuff and everything started happening. So there seems to be a very heavy there seems to be a problem with the resolution with the game, and that's, I believe. I would often crash if you would go into a full cutscene, for example, and then go back into, if you went back into an in-game cutscene, it would crash. Or like if you're in an in-game cutscene and then you went back to the game, it would crash. It would seem to be having a problem sort of resolving the different resolutions. All right, and so that was a problem, and it wouldn't be a problem normally if I was recording. The problem was I was recording, so every time I did that, it would screw up the recording, and I'd have to start over and do all the stuff over again. So it made it a real hassle for me. So it might not be as much of a hassle for you. Now, as far as the game itself, the game draws heavily from sort of David Lynchian type of a vibe, like basically Twin Peaks. Now, if you saw Twin Peaks, and I did, you'd love it. Well, I don't know if you'd love the game, but you'd like this game. I did see Twin Peaks, and so I got the sort of references, and I got the things, the jokes and stuff. So I sort of, it was really fun for me to go through it. Now, not everybody is going to get it. Not everybody saw Twin Peaks. There was a while. There was, I don't know, was that back in the 90s or something, or late 80s? I can't remember when that was. But I saw it in the 90s, I believe. And it's hard to categorize the game. It's hard. It's really hard. It has a really quirky, sort of offbeat sense of humor, but then it juxtaposes it with really sort of horrific moments, you know, and not. I don't mean frightening. I don't mean scary moments. I mean like horror, sort of like I mean blood, gory type of moments, you know. And so it's certainly not for everyone. It's certainly not for children. The game itself, now there was also some problems with the sound here and there. I would sometimes get weird stuttering sound problems, and that would happen. And it was actually sort of funny. It would like I would get in a car and suddenly the car would make the engine motor sound or something. It would be like, you know, starting up the engine, and it would keep on making a sound over and over and over again as I was driving. And you take a long time to drive, and you drive for like 5 minutes, and you just hear the thing over and over and over again for 5 minutes. It drives you crazy. So until you finally get out of the car, you know. But people complained, I think, about the driving, and yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't horrible. You know, as long as you're not speeding, super speeding, you could easily drive around the town. It wasn't too bad. The control itself, I didn't. Now, I'm not a veteran controller user. I use mouse and keyboard. As a matter of fact, I think this is the first time I ever played a full game with a controller. And I only had a problem at the very, very, very end, where you were supposed to hit this like one specific spot. I just couldn't hit because it was just too fine for me to hit, and I had to switch to mouse and keyboard. But otherwise, I mean, I didn't have a horrible problem in that sort of old sort of tank control almost. You know, it's almost Resident Evil-esque, you know, in a way. But it responded well. I mean, the stuff moved quickly enough for you to shoot people, and you know, you didn't feel like you were getting cheated or robbed too much or anything like that. Or, you know, you couldn't turn your gun quick enough to get to this guy or something like that. I didn't really feel anything like that. But I'm pretty forgiving about those things. But mostly you play the game for the story. You know, you want to find out what's going on with the story. So you put up, if you're willing to put up with all the stuff that's going on, all the weird glitches and all the stuff that's going on, you can get a great story out of it. It's a fun, great story. Not just fun, but interesting, you know. One of the problems I had was that, now I'll tell you now, so maybe this might help you. I'll tell you this real quick, was I would play the game. I had to play the game, and after about the first third of the game, it started crashing on me. So I started going, okay, I put it in administrative mode. Somebody said put it in administrative mode and try that, and it worked for a bit. But then it crashed again. I was like, okay, so I put it in administrative mode. Now this is in Windows, and I put it on XP compatibility in administrative mode, and that seemed to work fine. The problem was that suddenly the aiming would only go up a tiny bit, up and down, and left and right. It was like 1 inch up and down, left and right. So if something was to the side, like, you couldn't shoot it. You know, and there was a point where there was like this apple in this tree, and I couldn't shoot it because it was like way up in the tree, and I was like, well, how come I can't aim up there? What's going on? I thought it was a bug in the game. So I was like, oh, wow, okay, now what do I do? So I ended up putting it in administrative mode in Windows 98 mode. And that worked. That finally worked. Now, here's the problem. The problem was that now I was trying to figure this out all over the place because I really wanted to know the story. Now, the problem was that the frame rate drops drastically. Suddenly the game drops down to like 20 frames per second when I did that. The thing is, the game, honestly, the game really isn't running. The game runs. It's a very slow sort of paced game. Everything moves sort of slowly in the first place anyway. So honestly, I didn't see too much of a difference, to be honest. I think the game was running at 30 frames per second, somewhere around there, 28, 27 or something, and then it went down to like 20. It's like, yeah, well, you didn't see much of a difference. It was certainly playable because I played the entire game that way, and I didn't have a problem. So, but so if you're willing to get through those sort of things, if you're willing to, I just told you just now, so if you're willing to just get through that, you could actually play the game and have fun with it. Now, there are a bunch of side quests and things like that, and I didn't do all those because I was afraid it was going to start crashing on me all over the place again. But I just wanted to see the main story itself, and I had a good time. Now, the thing is, would I recommend it to anyone else? It depends. It really depends on how much you really want to experience the story for yourself, and how much. I think you have to have that sort of weird, sort of offbeat sense of humor. I think, and I don't look like that's for everyone, and that doesn't mean like I'm special or something like that, and I have this great sense of humor or something stupid like that. I just think it's a specific sort of sense of humor that that is enough to want to make you to continue forward. The same way that different people like different music and different people like different humor. There's nothing wrong with that. So, would I recommend this to everyone? No, certainly I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. No, I would recommend it to some people. But at worst, if what you can do is you could watch, you could do you could watch my Let's Play and see if you like it. See how it's going, see if you like it, and see how things are for you. Now, the graphics are dated and stuff like that because it's an old game, but I didn't have a problem with it. I was okay. So, I mean, my best thing to say to you is check out the Let's Play for, give it 3 or 4 episodes and see if you like what's going on, and if you like it, then go for it. Don't ruin it for yourself. If you want to play it. But if not, well, you can always watch it. So try that. Anyway, this has gone on really long. This Bunny Says, and I wanted to say thank you for listening. I'm glad you got this far. But give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's only a few dollars. If not, well, then just watch it. It's worth watching for the story. I'll tell you that much. So give it a shot to watch, and you don't have to watch my Let's Play. You can watch anybody's Let's Play of it. Whoever you like. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a nice day or evening or morning or mid-afternoon or whatever. So thank you and goodbye.